Alright guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to paint a super cool, super colorful beetle painting. So this is really easy. This is super beginner friendly. First thing we got to do is make sure our paper is up and down the tall way, portrait oriented, and then we're going to go ahead and tape down our paper. We want to tape down our paper because if we don't, sometimes the paper has a tendency to warp, to buckle, and do all kinds of crazy things we don't want it to do. So it's just a lot easier to keep our paper contained and tape it down so that it doesn't go anywhere. So we want to tape down all four sides. As you can see, I want like a really thin border for this, so I'm only taping a small part of the paper. That is completely up to you. If you're like, I'd rather have a wide border, then you can make sure you tape down more of the paper than I do. That's totally fine. It is all up to personal preference. But once we have it all taped down, then we can start drawing. So we're gonna draw the head. The head is kind of like an oval, kind of like a rectangle if you had to combine the two. And then we have like this trapezoid shape thing for the middle section. And then for the body, it's basically an oval. Then we're gonna draw these two circles on the side. And I'm sorry if I'm going fast. If I'm going fast, you can pause the video. I realize I'm going kind of fast. Then we're gonna draw the mouth. So we have these two slightly slanted parts that are longer and then two that are smaller. And then we're gonna draw 6 legs. So we have a curved line that goes up and then these little tufted bits on the side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I go back in. These are gonna go the opposite direction. They're gonna go down. So we have our curved line going down and then 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, yep. And then 2 more legs. So these are also going down. Curved line, and then doot. And then do it again on this one. All right, we have our doodle. And then, yeah, we just need a line for the wings. And that's it. That's how you draw the beetle. That's the hardest part of the whole drawing, I promise. This is super easy. Then we're gonna take watercolor. You can use gouache if you want, but I find watercolor is really great for just applying a nice base. This is gonna be the background color of our painting. I chose this really nice, like grassy green, but you can pick any green you have. I feel like the green is just gonna complement the pinks, the purples, and the blues so well. So yeah, I would just take any green of your choice and cover the entire paper in a nice, I'd say like semi-sheer layer, so you can still see your sketch underneath. But we'll have that nice foundation for our beetle painting. It just makes it pop so much more than having it on white paper. Alrighty, now that our paper is completely dry, I wouldn't do this if it's still wet, but once it's completely dry, I would take a nice purple gouache and I'm gonna color the entire beetle. This is gonna be our base layer, our base color. And I would make sure it's pretty thick. You don't want to be able to see anything underneath it. And this is really important because it's going to be what we put all of our fun colors on top of. It makes for a more cohesive painting if the base color is the same. That way it carries this nice purple tone throughout the entire painting. So I would start with the body first just because it's the biggest area, it's the easiest to paint in. And then when you get to the mouth and the legs, I would go with a smaller brush. All right, once you're done applying that base color, we're gonna go in with a darker purple and we're gonna go ahead and color in those eyes. The eyes are gonna be a darker purple than the rest of the body. And then we're gonna start adding some shadows so we can see some more details on our little beetle. So we can start off with the mouth, the little pinchers. We got the dark purple near the base, and then as it goes out, it's that lighter purple from earlier. So there we go, we have the eyes, we have the mouth, and then we can go ahead and add the shadow in between the head and the beginning of the body. And that way we can tell, like, okay, these are segmented parts of the insect's body. That's important to know. Awesome, it's starting to look more like a beetle now. And then when that's done, we can go ahead and do the same for this part of the body. So it's a straight horizontal line and then it curves and then it continues. And then when we have that, we can go ahead and put water on our brush and then pull that color down. And by pulling that dark purple into the light purple, we create this really pretty subtle gradient so that we can tell where the different parts of the body are, and it looks much more natural this way, a little less harsh, a little less cartoony. And then once we're done with that, we can go ahead and start adding in some blue. I'm putting a layer of blue on the head. This is gonna blend in very beautifully. And then after that, we can go ahead and add some more of that very same blue color on the side here. We don't have to be exact with the colors, but basically what we're trying to do here is grab our blues, our pinks, our purples, our navies, our greens, and we're gonna mix them together so that our beetle has multiple colors going on. It's gonna be really pretty. So we added some blue on the corner here, we added some blue near the middle, and then we're just adding some navy blue underneath both of those areas. And it's optional, but I would recommend blending the two into each other. So it creates more of like a blended effect. More of like a watercolor-esque kind of painting. Then we can go ahead and grab our pink, our magenta, and also blend that in. It starts to look a little purpley when you blend it in. We kind of lose that pink a little bit, but honestly that's fine. That's part of the magic. And honestly, I'd say the most important part when we're blending these colors in together is to just have fun. There's no science, there's no precision here. It's just when I put the paint here, when I put the specific color here, does it look nice? Does it look pretty? Does that work? And if the answer is yes, awesome, then you can move on to the next area. If you're like, oh, maybe I should have added some more blue there, then you can just go over top of it with some more blue. There's really no mistakes that could be made here. You can always paint on top of another color, no problem. But once you fill it in that area, you can add some green. Basically, we want like the very middle of our beetle to be this nice chartreuse color. So we're gonna pull that color down even further. We're gonna go ahead and attempt another gradient effect. This time it's gonna be a little bit different because we want it to be like our lightest color in the middle. So our chartreuse, our green, our yellowy green color is in the middle. And then off to the side, we're gonna add that blue from earlier. And if you're applying it, it probably is already blending into the green, which is perfect. That's exactly what we want it to do. And that's gonna go all the way around the green. If you wanna add some more blue to make sure the blue shows up, you can do that too. And as you can see, I'm just blending the two together with a clean brush. And I'm getting ready for the next color we're gonna add. So we're gonna add purple around. That's gonna blend into the blue. And this is the darker purple we used for the eyes. And it's okay if your colors are different than mine, as long as they're in the same family, I guess. And then go ahead and go all the way around. And I like to dab to blend it in. I think it works pretty well for this painting in particular, for the added effect. It almost gives it like a tie-dye effect. It's pretty fun. And then when it's done drying, we're gonna go ahead and go in with a violet colored Prismacolor pencil if you have one, or some kind of dark purple pencil. I highly recommend using a brand like Prismacolor or Polychromos because I don't know if Crayola is pigmented enough to show up on a painting like this. You can certainly try, I'm not sure. I went straight in with Prismacolor just to make sure we were getting the saturation we wanted. But we're adding some shadows to the eyes. We're going in and adding more depth to the segment between the head and the base of the body. Same thing with the mouth. We're adding a little bit of an outline, and then we're also deepening that shadow where the pinchers and the top of the head meet. That way it's a little bit easier to tell what they are. I'm also slightly outlining parts of our beetle. That way there's a more defined border. And we kind of lost this shadow right here, so I'm adding it back again with the colored pencil. If you would like, you can add some more shadows on the side of the body. Completely optional. I just thought it looked nice. Then we're gonna add, remember that line from the beginning we drew for the wings? We're gonna go ahead and add that back again. It got lost a little bit in our painting. Just totally okay, we're just gonna add that right back. If you would like, you can add shadow by lightly pressing on your colored pencil. If you wanted a shadow in between the wings, completely optional. I decided not to do that, but it would definitely make your beetle look more realistic and more interesting. And then last but not least, we're gonna go ahead and add some shadows where the legs meet the body, and then we're gonna mildly outline the legs as well. We're gonna do that for all 6 of them. Now this is my favorite part personally, but we're gonna go ahead and add some highlights with our white gouache paint. So we're gonna add some reflection in the beetle's eyes to make them look nice and shiny and alive. We're gonna add some shines on the body of our beetle. You guys ever picked up a beetle before, like outside? Their bodies, if you look at them closely, are really shiny. And they're really reflective of light, so I would go crazy with the shine because, I don't know, beetles are just very shiny, and that's really fun to paint. So I'm adding lots of highlights to my beetle. I'm adding them on the body, I'm adding them on the legs, I'm adding them on the eyes. Go crazy. That's what I say, go crazy. And then the very last thing to do, this is the most satisfying and rewarding part, is just remove your tape. Remove your tape, and then you get to see and hold your beautiful new painting.